You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I am Scott.
Oh, this is not Matt. Who are you? I don't know you.
I am the fake friend of Steve because I actually don't like him.
Oh, it's true. He doesn't like me at all, and I don't understand why. I'm such a lovable guy. Anyway, so this week we're gonna go back to back. Well, this week we're starting with number 1 with an Alex Proyas. Is this how we're gonna pronounce his name?
Proyas.
Proyas. I don't know.
Proyas.
He's Australian. And his first movie we're going to do here is The Crow.
Tarina! 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 Tarina!
Devil's Night is upon us again. Throw a little party, start a bunch of fires, make a little profit.
Someone's dead. They can't come back, can they?
That's what I thought. Are you referring to anyone in particular?
You know, my daddy used to say, every man's got a devil. You can't rest till you find him.
Winked at me before he jumped out a 4th floor window like he had wings.
Is his link between the land of the living and the realm of the dead.
So you killed the crow.
Caw! Bang! I'm dead!
A bastard devil stood and felt how awful goodness. Felt how awful goodness.
Woo! That's a really good trailer.
Yes, and they did right by sensationalizing Brandon Lee's death by calling it out, essentially.
His last stunning performance. It's just like a person that would be yelling in front of an old-timey theater. They're like, "Come see the last performance of the dead Brandon Lee!"
Now, I don't know of any previous performance either, though, Brandon Lee.
He did Rapid Fire, I remember that one, and he did something lovely called Laser Mission, which you can actually go back over a year, I think, and we did that with our buddy Scott Roger of Horror Movie Night. And it's Brandon Lee who travels to Cuba as a James Bond ripoff to get a scientist who knows how to take diamonds and turn them into lasers, and it's called Laser Mission, but there's no lasers in the movie, which is hilarious. It's got Ernest Borgnine in it. It's just a magnificently bad good movie.
Sounds amazing. I never heard of it.
It's free on YouTube. Yeah, and it's the 4:3 aspect ratio of it. So someone captured it from their VHS and just slapped it on YouTube. And no one owns the rights to it, I guess, so no one can take it down.
Or maybe they just don't care.
Probably that too. But yeah, Brandon Lee did a few things in Japan, and then he moved over to America with, stuff like Laser Mission, Rapid Fire, and then he hit with The Crow.
Right.
And sadly, it was his last one.
Swan Song, it ended up being, but I only knew him, obviously, leading up to The Crow. I only knew him as the son of Bruce Lee, so that was...
Yeah, and you explained to me how Bruce Lee died, because I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know officially, but, I knew it stemmed from some sort of, I think, brain hemorrhaging. I read some things that Brandon Lee dying was people thought it was more than a coincidence that maybe the Lee family itself is cursed, and we can talk about that later. But
yeah, I'm at least the males. I don't know if any females have randomly died, but who knows? I don't know. So let's go into the detail. Well, actually, first, I first saw this. The history behind this. I first saw this when it was a rental. This is a huge rental for me. I don't know. I think I was. Let's see. I was born in '82, so I was around 11.
Yes, 94, I believe, sounds right. And I was 10, and it was definitely a rental for me too. Good old Blockbuster rental. But I remember I was big into comic books, and for me it was, I loved drawing the Crow. That was kind of one of the things that I remember most from this movie was how cool it was, especially there's a shot where he's walking down the street, he's got the crow on his shoulder. And I always thought that was awesome. And so I did a lot of drawings with the Crow. And so that's kind of where... And honestly, that was up until, today, that was the last time I think I can honestly say I watched The Crow, which is unfortunate because it's a great movie.
Yeah, it really holds up.
Yes, yeah.
Very impressive. And the visuals in this movie obviously was put together by a visual director who did music videos beforehand, but like so many of the shots in this film just look like a poster, a work of art.
Yeah, and the stages, the models, the matte paintings, all that hold up fairly well. And even some of the rotoscoping that is obvious if you look back and watch the movies. Even the rotoscoping is not terrible in some scenes.
No, yeah, rotoscoping can sometimes really hold up, and then there's a few times where the animation looks a little odd.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, well, that's awful. I like how you pick like the worst example of it. That's why you're a good guest for this podcast. I could pick a normal example, but let's go extreme.
There you go, extreme. That movie was so bad.
Yeah, it really is. Oh my gosh, the green screen in that movie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, atrocious. Anyway, back to a good movie. The Crow. Yeah, so we had some big players in this. Well, big character players, I guess you could say. They're not household names, but you know the faces.
And Michael Wincott being one of them.
Yeah, well, Michael Wincott as Top Dollar is my favorite Michael Wincott character ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, he's walking around in like it's like a pirate's sleeves, but he's wearing like a skin tight vest.
Uh-huh. It almost feels like he was born for this role in a way. I mean,
maybe he was.
But he kind of is that guy in his movies anyway, I feel, a lot of the times. Obviously Strange Days was...
Yeah.
He was kind of a Michael Wincott-esque guy there too, It's almost similar...
Well, he's got like this rock and roll, like theater pretty boy look, but when you look at his face, he's not actually a pretty boy.
He's a guy I would be afraid of if I saw him in an alley, and I would actually think that he might be like some sort of homeless person or something.
A homeless person with an amazing voice.
Yes. Oh, definitely animated villain voice.
He is, yeah. I wonder if he did any animated. He had to. I don't know anything about Michael Wilcott's career after the 90s, but I hope he did some animated voices.
I wonder what he's doing now. I mean...
Michael Wincott's done a lot of 90s films. He kind of trailed off, but he did he was Ed Gein in Hitchcock from a couple years ago. So that's something. But it looks like maybe... I'm assuming he went to theater. Or just retired because he's in his 60s.
Yeah, maybe. He had a great run, though, of characters back in...
It's stuff like The Three Musketeers. You had Born on the 4th of July. He just had...
One of my favorite roles was the Count of Monte Cristo. I thought he was real good in that too. Yeah. He just plays a good villain.
He does, and he's just that man. His voice is so damn good. I kind of wish he was in more now. Like an old, just smokes too much.
Maybe like kind of like what Tommy Lee Jones has kind of done with his career. Embrace the old, grumpy, gritty. With that voice, he totally could.
It's like, you people don't know what you're doing. Back in my day. Oh man, just a disgruntled back in my day old man.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah. Clint Eastwood basically is just like, that's my role.
Yeah, Gran Torino Clint Eastwood is basically every old man from
the most lovable racist of all time. Yeah, and then we had a lot of we had a man who never ages, Ernie Hudson. Incredible. He's in his 60s or whatever he's in now. He looks like he's 35 years old and everything.
Yep. He's incredible, and he's great in this movie. He's like the perfect complement role. I don't know if there's ever a movie I've seen him in where I'm like, I just don't like Ernie Hudson in this movie. Because I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, it's not. There's not one person I've ever met who's like, you know what, guy, I can't stand that Ernie Hudson. Like, no one has ever said that. Ever. He was in Ghostbusters, and then from then on, everyone's just like, you know what I need more in my life? Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, okay, so we already talked about, we've gone through Brandon Lee, we've gone through Ernie Hudson, Michael Wincott, but one guy who's fantastic, who does a lot, he was in The Warriors, is T-Bird, David Patrick Kelly, is one of the most underappreciated genre actors. He's just so good at ad-libbing and coming out. You remember The Warriors where he's like, Warriors,
clinking the bottles,
play.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
That's all him.
Yeah.
That wasn't written for the movie. He just did that.
And it's the most recognizable line from that movie. And one of the most, in the 80s, recognizable lines.
He's done so many... You remember him in Commando? He's just like, hey, man, you said you're going to kill me last. And Arnold just goes, I lied. He just drops him.
Was that whole scene ad-libbed? Do you know?
Oh, I have no idea. That's interesting to know.
Because if Arnold just basically fed off him, that would be amazing.
It would. It could be. I mean, I've heard from a lot of actors when I go see them speak and everything. And David Patrick Kelly, actually, he'll come up. Everyone loves him, but I never see him at like panels or anything like that. I hope he's still alive.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, I don't know what he's doing now or if he's still doing movies.
Yeah, he's 68. Well, he's 68 from Detroit, Michigan. Oh man, he's from Detroit. That's a tough ass bitch.
Because the movie so The Crow, doesn't that take place in Detroit or supposedly?
Yeah, I think because it's Devil's Night.
Yeah.
If it's not Detroit, it's like a fake Detroit.
But I think I saw somewhere the comic book creator, the creator of The Crow, he's from Detroit.
Yeah, so it's probably Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of other ones. I can't remember. But Funboy. Funboy is the one who does the he's shooting himself up. What is that, by the way?
I don't know.
Morphine?
Yeah. Well, he says it when he cleans Carla's. When he cleans her wounds, he says, I think it is morphine. Shooting up morphine's bad or whatever.
Look. Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children. Do you understand? Morphine is bad for you. Your daughter is out there on the streets waiting for you.
Yeah, Funboy, he's got some type of weird look going for him. His face, he's like one of those guys where you look at, he gets all the chicks, but you'd be like, but he's so ugly.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of fit though.
Yeah, he is. You kind of look at me like, I don't know. Who's the, is it Skank? Yes, Skank. Skank's the one who seems to be with T-Bird, and when they do at the very end, right before they go out there, fire it up! Fire it up! Skank. Oh yeah, because Skank's the last one.
Skank's the last one to live, or to die, really. The last one to die.
Yes. And does Tony Todd, I don't know, like, personal right-hand man of Top Dollar, is he the one who kills Skank?
No. Crow throws him out the window.
Does he throw Skank out the window?
Yeah. Okay. At the end, after the shootout, he holds the girl hostage, and then he, gets to him, and then he just throws him out the window.
Yeah, and then we have Sarah, the little girl, and Daria, who's hooking up with Funboy. That's her mom?
Darla. Yeah, that's the mom. Who looked familiar, but I just could not put her in any other movie I've seen. I don't know. She had a familiar face, though.
Yeah, and whoever, Marco Rodríguez, Scarface, the really mad detective.
For no reason.
I think Rodríguez is basically the Brand X of Robert Davi, who is in the Goonies. And Robert Davi has a personal hatred of my co-host Matt, because Matt wrote a bad review of him in like an alt-right pro-gun movie. And Robert Davi wrote him an email back saying, "Of course you're from Chicago."
That's incredible.
Robert Davi hates Matt Stork, my co-host.
That is awesome.
And we're watching the Brand X Robert Davi and Marco Gonzalez, or Rodríguez. I already forgot his name. That's how Brand X he is. Marco Rodríguez. Which I've seen that Rodríguez guy in other movies. I just don't know what.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the Goonies, because he kind of looks like one of the Fratelli brothers.
Yeah, that's Robert Davi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, except Robert Davi has a lot more character. So who's uglier? Robert Davi or Marco Rodríguez?
Man, I don't even know.
That's a tough one. I think Robert Davi's a little uglier. But he's more entertaining.
Is there more bias to that, though, since he hates your co-host?
No, a lot of people hate Matt. Kidding. Anywho, let's get into the box art of this, which is also really cool because it has the one I have, which is a re-release. I think came out probably around the time of Scream '96, something like that. Because it's got all the quotes on the right-hand side, or all the quotes on the left-hand side, and the crow coming through the door on the right-hand side, which is so iconic.
Yep.
And it says, spectacular, Chicago Tribune, thrilling, Los Angeles Daily News, action-packed, New York, what is it? WBAI Radio New York, a triumph, Playboy. I forgot, Playboy did review movies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Playboy, very sophisticated articles they would write, right? Yeah, everyone was reading the articles in Playboy when
I was looking at the boobies. Yeah. And then I was like, hey, there's words in here.
There's words. There's, yeah.
Another quote here, Brandon Lee is sensational from the Rolling Stone. What I find funny about that, they have another quote too, the best movie of its kind since the original Batman, Chicago Tribune. But there's no writers' names. They use all newspapers or radio.
Was that a thing back then? Or
maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but it's funny that they bring up Batman because you pointed out this very much has a Tim Burton Batman feel.
Yes, the very noir-esque, the setup, not quite as along the lines of the hues that Tim Burton uses, but to me it kind of feels like they just borrowed parts of the set of Batman.
Yeah.
The original Batman, or the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah, they take out a lot of the colors. This one, the crow is more black and white, monochromatic, black and red. And they use the reds sparingly, but when they are, they're vibrant.
Yeah, beautifully lit. And you had mentioned before the podcast how they brilliantly used the reds and all that.
Yeah.
Instead of making it black and white, which the original comic was black and white.
And the director wanted to do it in all black and white, but the money, the suits said, no.
And so, but he made it work. A lot of times when the suits say something, it ends up killing the movie. Mm-hmm. And he made it work because
they met in the middle. They did a monochromatic color tone, which I loved in the 90s. The 90s had, like, Tim Burton, I think, because he was so good at what he did, it became popular there for a while. Now, it stretched a little thin, but you know what? It came right back with The Matrix.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it went too far because then everyone tried to make The Matrix again.
Yep. Yeah, and what I also liked too, and we mentioned it before, I think it holds up overall. The effects, the stylization, the cinematography. You know, you could tell that they took a lot of points from comic book angles. They tried hard to, you know, make sure to capture that you were watching a comic book style movie.
Yeah, it does. It felt like a 90s comic book movie that was on the better half. Because there were so many. Oh, yeah, you know what? I guess this kind of has a feel, a little bit of Blade. Like Blade maybe borrowed from this a little bit.
Yeah, now that you say that, I could see that. But Blade was also, what, 98?
Something like that, about 4 years later.
4 years later, yeah.
Doesn't this feel a lot older than Blade, though?
It does. This actually feels older than, I don't know, this, not in a bad way. It just maybe it's just because how old we are. It's a little bit
more timeless.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting
dated. It. When you watch Blade, it feels dated. Like you have all the like dance music and like techno crap. I think this holds up. Now let's listen to the actual description on this. The year's most talked about film. Catch the explosive, action-packed hit that thrilled moviegoers and dazzled critics everywhere. Brandon Lee from Rapid Fire plays Eric Draven, a young rock guitarist who, along with his fiancée, is brutally killed by a ruthless gang of criminals. Uh-oh! That's not funny. Exactly 1 year after his death, Eric returns, watched over by a hypnotic crow to seek revenge, battling the evil crime lord and his band of urban thugs. That means black, even though only one's black. Who must answer for their crimes, loaded with intense non-stop action and a hot #1 hit soundtrack. The Crow delivers exhilarating, fast-paced entertainment. Also included the exclusive featurette of Brandon Lee's last on-camera interview, including never-before-seen footage conducted shortly before his untimely death. That's right, I forgot to tell you. This has like the last interview with him, but it's short. It's like 5 minutes.
What does he say?
He just talks about the film, how excited he is, and how great it's going to be. Your basic
just
stuff.
One last thing to include about Brandon Lee for the film.
But they can say it's his last interview.
Yeah.
And then stick it in the end of the film.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, let's get into it. Let's get into the feature presentation because there's no trailers. Boo!
And now, our feature presentation.
There's no trailers like in any release of this film.
Because
I was looking them up.
Yeah. So I guess that means that...
I guess Dimension probably just didn't have a lot of... I mean, they had Hellraiser 3 at this point. What else do you
I was going to say, because I guess that means that they just... Because this was like one of the... This is what pretty much got Dimension on the radar.
Yeah, Hellraiser 3, The Crying Game, and The Crow. Like, that's it.
I mean, and
you don't want to put The Crying Game before The Crow. That's just weird.
And you know what's kind of also surprising is that since it is the Weinsteins, right? That if there was no trailers, were they trying to keep Dimension its own thing instead of trying to show trailers from
probably
Miramax?
I think they just wanted to use Dimension as like it was a genre film. And, sometimes like the horror movies and stuff like that, it becomes quote unquote embarrassing. Yeah. Not until Scream. Once Scream came out, then it was no longer embarrassing because it made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, the Scream brought to life like I don't want to say playful horror, but I mean,
Well, it was like the meta humor. It was horror was cool again. Because it had been so dead in the 90s. And then they put Drew Barrymore in there and they got huge stars. And before you know, we had, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and just so many. Everyone wanted to do a horror film because you could stick it out. And even though it was rated R, teenagers would come see it in flocks.
Yeah.
Make a shit ton of film or a shit ton of money. It was fun. This film, on the other hand, I think it's rated R and it's fun rated R, even though it's really dark and dirty and dank.
Do you think they struck gold without knowing they actually had gold?
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe that's why there wasn't trailers, because they weren't really prepared for the success of what this movie was going to be.
This film kind of seems like it was cheap to make. You had matte paintings, you had some animation, you had costumes, but the costumes didn't look expensive.
Right, yeah.
To me, a lot of the $23 million was probably marketing and the soundtrack.
Yeah. I mean, and it helps too because of the graphic novel aspect of it. It helps that having matte paintings and model props and sets actually works in favor of this movie. And that probably helped, like you said, the financial standpoint too.
Yeah. This is a movie I hope never gets remade.
Yeah,
let it stay.
We all know
Well, because today I don't think you could make a movie like this. You'd have to make it kind of like.
It would be CG over the top. I mean,
yeah, that's what they do now. They can't. Hardly anyone releases a film without just plastering it with CG because they're afraid no one will come see it. But have you ever seen Upgrade? That was my favorite movie one of my favorite movies from last year. Upgrade's amazing, and that has mostly practical effects.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
It's a sci-fi neo-noir thriller action. It's awesome. Where it's basically he gets a chip in him that can control his body when he wants to, so he can beat the shit out of people, and he goes after the people who killed his wife. It's a revenge film.
Who is it? What is it? Star?
Rip off Tom Hardy.
Oh, I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but this is rip off Tom Hardy, where he looks like Tom Hardy, but he's not Tom Hardy.
Oh.
He was in the Alien prequel. What was that called?
The shitty Alien prequel? Prometheus.
And he was the one who got the little worm thing in his eye. Yeah. And he was shitty to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah. Okay.
So, he looks like Tom Hardy, except Tom Hardy is beefy.
Yeah.
This guy's skinny. But this is the first film I ever saw him in. I can't remember his name. It's the first film I ever saw him in that I liked him in.
Okay.
So, I would very much suggest seeing that.
Upgrade.
Really simple. Basically seems like it was made in the late 80s, early 90s.
Cool.
Oh, where are we at with this? So we start off with what? It basically is Eric Draven and his girlfriend. He gets shot and she gets raped?
Yes. Well, yeah, they're looking to basically kick them out of their condo, apartment, whatever you want to call it. And from what I remember, there was a line where he said, and then you came and you ruined the party. Like, they weren't expecting the boyfriend to be there.
Were they going to burn down the building?
I don't know. I'm still a little leery on that whole part.
No, because I think they wanted the building. Maybe they just were going to, scare people and trash their place so they'd leave.
I don't know if there was really if it was ever discussed or what the backstory was about them just barging in, but they weren't expecting the Crow, Eric Draven, to be there, and he was, and then that kind of led to they raped and killed his girlfriend, and then obviously threw him out the window.
And then Funboy accidentally killed Brandon Lee.
Yes. Yeah.
Shooting him with a brass cap. Oops.
Oh, yes, and it was that scene. Per our internet research, it was the opening scene. Not the opening scene, but the scene where they break in.
Yeah.
They show throughout the constant flashbacks and the crazy lighting, which actually helped for replacing Brandon Lee, because they ended up reshooting that whole sequence, because originally he got shot when they broke in, but then if you watch, you notice they stab him instead and then throw him out the window. So
yeah. Because they had to reshoot it all. Because they had to use all that footage for testimony.
Yep. Yeah, and then they destroy after, supposedly, I don't even know how that works in judicial system, but
I don't know
the evidence or whatever. Supposedly, I read that they destroyed the evidence because out of courtesy for Brandon Lee and the family, but I guarantee it's probably out there somewhere. But
That's why you gotta. I mean, it sucks too because the prop master is the one who checks the gun because, well, the arm master is supposed to have control of all the armory, all the weapon, all the firearms, but he left because he was either tired or sick or something. So the prop master checked the gun, dry fired it, didn't know there was debris from from the brass cap of the bullet. And then they fired a blank, which is filled with 3 to 4 times more gunpowder than a normal bullet.
Yeah.
And it shot right through him.
So basically what dry fire means is that you pull the trigger where you're assuming that there is no bullet in the chamber. And so you're basically pulling the trigger on an empty, nothing. Yeah. But it turned out that a piece from a blank or a dummy bullet was still left in there. So when you dry fired it, nothing technically happened per se to the gun going off because the prop master would have realized. Yeah. So, but what happened was it did get lodged in the barrel, and then they call that really a squib misfire, and which is very, very dangerous and was not caught. And since the prop master didn't even know that happened, it was.
He's not a professional,
right? Yeah,
that's what sucks.
And so when that usually happens, you need to very intricately field strip the weapon and dislodge the bullet that is stuck in the chamber. And clearly, if you don't even know that happens, then obviously disaster strikes. And
yeah, that's why you got to use union people, because apparently I've heard this was non-union, that's why, I assume in a union job, if an armed master left, they wouldn't do anything with firearms on the rest of the shooting. And this one, I'm assuming with the prop master was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. I've helped. And then obviously he didn't know what he was doing, and that's how it led to the death of Brendan Lee.
Yeah, I would assume too that if the arms master left, I would assume that they would have
probably should have switched to a knife.
Either figured out how to finish the scene without involving firearms, or just stop shooting altogether. Yeah. Whether or not we don't know the details of why he left or whatnot, but that's basically the director saying, "I'm tired. I'm going to let the sound designer just finish doing these takes." It's it wouldn't happen, and especially today.
Yeah. It's just one of those, it sucks. It sucks. It's an accident. No one meant to do it, and we lost Brendan Lee, who probably would have been one of the biggest action stars of the 90s.
I would agree. I totally agree. But it's, per comments I read, it's the curse of the Lee family, so.
And this is kind of a Halloween movie, but I always forget. Because the Demon Knight is on Halloween, but for me, I always think of it kind of overshadows the Halloween aspect of the film, where they're sitting there, going through Devil's Night and burning down Detroit.
Well, and I don't know necessarily if it even needed to be Halloween. I just think to me, it just felt like it added to the story in a good way. I feel like you still could have had a great movie without it being Halloween. But then again, he is wearing makeup, face paint, and he does look like a combination of the Joker and the wrestler Sting.
I think it's funny, though, that the director did music videos and rock videos beforehand, and then Eric Draven is actually a musician. Yeah.
And they have your classic 90s music rock band cut.
Oh, yeah, 9 Inch Nails, The Cure's in it.
Yeah. The soundtrack's great too. Yeah. But I meant they actually, they had their classic montage of the 90s band, rocking out in the warehouse.
Yeah, and then 1 year later, a crow comes and taps on his grave, and then he rises. But he rises as a normal man and everything like that, and he gets he goes back to his apartment and has the flashbacks of what happened, and then puts on the leather, I assume his leather pants from he was a musician. I don't know how he got a shirt. Yeah. Just a black skin-tight shirt. Yeah. And then he covers his face very much Joker-like.
Yep.
In a way.
Yeah. And this is one of the few cases where I'm okay with not knowing where the crow came from or why or how. I think they just did it in such a good, simple way that you just kind of go with the flow and you don't need an over-explanation for who he is.
Yeah. It's very mystical.
Yeah. But without having to be fake,
Yeah.
Like or too in your face.
I don't even know anything else like this that takes you back and lets you get revenge for like one night on all your enemies.
Now
or
here's
one
a question
day
though.
or whatever.
Is it just the one day or is it just because of the circumstances of...
I don't know.
Because like we all know that the Raven got... Well, the premise is the Raven. The Link is the Raven.
Or the Crow.
Or the Crow. Because his last name's Draven.
Yeah.
That's why I keep... Coincidence? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But the Link is the Crow between the two lives, him dead and him living. And, if the Crow dies, he dies. And so I don't know if this would have kept going. Would he have still stayed alive or dead alive, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know. It's very interesting, but now that you mentioned Craven, which sounds like Raven, and then we have a crow, and then T-Bird.
T-Bird, yeah.
Okay, I wonder if
the
creator did that on purpose. James O'Barr. Yeah, who was a graphic artist, a writer, a former Marine.
Yeah, and we...
Oh, I'm sorry. There is no such thing as a former Marine.
Right. Yeah. And Steve and I came to the conclusion that we know nothing about James O'Barr except for what we read, but we pretty much are sure that they came up with that chant with him and his buddies in the Marine Corps.
Fire it up! Fire it up! And this movie is loaded with amazing one-liners.
Yep.
Like the one where he just goes, what is it? Victims.
We are all victims.
Yeah, it's just like, it's awesome. Like, there's so much in the visuals. There's so much in this movie to like. Like, I don't want to break it down scene by scene because I want everyone to see it. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and go watch it because it's just full of really good character actors, really good visuals, beautiful lighting, fun costumes, and just a great revenge film.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good acting too. No one's over the top. Brandon Lee's great in it.
Well, I think a lot of people are over the top.
Well, but not over for what it's meant to be.
It's not like Jim Carrey as the Riddler over the top.
Yes, right, exactly.
Where he stops the entire movie to act.
Yeah.
This one is like everyone is the right amount of over the top.
And even Torres, the Scarface cop, he's even he's like even he has a purpose. He has a reason for being so angry. We're not sure of it, but you also don't really care. You're just kind of like, he kind of fits because that's just kind of how it is.
Now, the weird Top Dollar's weird girlfriend, whatever she is, the one who's kind of a sorceress.
Well, and also he mentioned something like sister.
Yeah.
In a weird that was a weird little line that he mentioned that I caught. Like, what did he? Is he fucking his sister type thing? But
that's always a character that feels like it's not part of this movie.
Yeah, she's kind of I would say out of everyone, all the cast and whatnot, she's kind of the outlier of them all. Like, where
just very odd.
But she is the one that discovers the link of the crow.
And she takes the crow and steals his power, and then he just becomes mortal. And that's when Top Dollar and him fight at the end.
I guess I thought the crow got hurt because it was shot, but was it not shot?
But doesn't she figure out that you have she sends Tony Todd's character after the crow to shoot it and kill it. I think it maims the crow, but it weakens his powers.
Yeah, it definitely didn't kill the crow. Obviously, it was alive, and that is a good question because if the crow is still alive, then if it's hurt, then technically wouldn't Draven be healing still, but slowly, more slow? Because
I don't know, because I remember him getting shot at the end and going, "Oh, that actually hurts."
Yeah,
it doesn't heal.
Yeah.
So I think it's when, if the crow is at full health, he heals fast, and basically nothing can stop him. But if the crow is damaged, then he's also it's. I don't know, something like that. It's like Logan or Wolverine when he loses his superpowers for a little while and it's just like, oh, that bullet really hurts.
Yeah.
I'm not healing fast. But this movie's so much fun, and I love how the Crow, Eric Draven, goes from gang member to gang member in Revenge. It's very easy to digest. He goes, I get this one, I get that one, and yada, 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 all the way up. I really love the, pawn owner, the pawn store owner, who is, like, the most slimy guy possible.
Yeah.
Goddamn creatures in the night. They never learn. Hey! Hey!
Suddenly, I heard a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door.
What are you talking about?
You heard me rapping, right?
You trespass. And you owe me a fucking new door.
I'm looking for something in an engagement ring.
Yeah.
Gold.
You're looking for a coroner. Shit for brains. Oh, shit. Oh, shit on me.
And then the Crow goes through every wedding ring till he finds his. He gets the flashback. I love it. And I love it that he goes... he goes into the bar that T-Bird's gang hangs out in. Weren't they doing shots of bullets?
Yes, and I was going to call that out before when we were talking about the Marine thing, which I also feel like is like some sort of link between his real life circle, the James O'Barr, the creator, the link between when he was inspiration for writing this, but like swallowing full bullets and taking shots, and then that's kind of how they party.
Now, we partied a lot in college and after college, but that's something that I would have swallowed it like a quarter, but there's no fucking way I'd swallow a bullet, even though it would just pass right through you.
I definitely would not swallow.
No.
There's absolutely not.
But I guarantee you, there's been plenty of soldiers to do it.
That's what I mean. I feel like it's an actual like thing.
I'm sure they did do it. I'm sure if he was in, I don't know, wherever he was stationed in Germany, they were like, I fucking dare you to take that bullet, take a shot, and swallow it. Because you could just go like, oh, I swallowed the bullet, what's going to happen? Most likely the paramedic would be like, you're going to shit it out, you dumbass.
And it probably won't feel good while you shit it out.
No, it's going to hurt. I pooped out a penny once.
I don't know if I've ever pooped out anything that's like not meant to be pooped out.
I was a kid, probably around 8 years old, and I was putting the penny in my mouth, which is, now that I think about it, is completely disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was probably up, like, I don't know, some dude's ass.
But you survived.
I survived. But I was putting the penny on my tongue like, look. And then I accidentally swallowed it. And I told my parents I was freaking out. And my dad's like, you're just going to poop it out. And I did.
Did you?
No, I just flushed it.
All right.
That penny...
That would have been lucky. That's your lucky penny, man. That's your lucky penny.
I ain't swimming through my own shit. I hope all of you enjoy that visual.
Yeah. I do know that this definitely, I can see when we hang out with everyone as a collective group again. Maybe we'll play the bullet shot game.
Oh shit! I hope it's like a 22, like a teeny tiny 22. Because could you imagine? Like just bringing like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what size gauge bullet is for like a bolt action.
Well, so 22, then you get your 38s, then you get your 8mm or 8mm, 9mm, and then you get your 45s. Like it just.
And I'm pretty sure they were doing 9mm in this.
I'd have to rewind. It went up. It pretty much is what I was saying. I think they
had multiple.
Yeah, because
jeez,
what's his face? The Goonie, the Warriors guy.
David Patrick Kelly, T-Bird.
Oh, he is T-Bird. Yeah. So T-Bird at the end, we're like, beat that, Tintin, because Tintin did it right, and then Tintin looks like he just did a 9, and T-Bird did. I want to say T-Bird did one that was bigger. I'm gonna guess 45, and then he burned his tongue with the, or maybe he did the same and then just burned his tongue, and that's how he topped him. You know, because he took his.
I bet he did do a 45. Well, wait, did any of them have a 45?
Well, I'm sure. I mean,
what if T-Bird, because he was the smallest, had a 45, and he took his 45. Swallowed his own bullet and then burned himself on the tongue.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I swallowed your bullet and I fucking put out my cigarette or cigar in my tongue. Okay. I could see that like a Marine one-up. It's you win.
Totally.
Yeah. And then they draw guns on each other. I don't even know what happens at that point.
No, and then they go, they draw guns on each other.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes, oh man, I forget the line he says. And then they do their
fire it up! Fire it up!
They're about to kill each other, and then he says, "What? Like, he says, if I wanted to kill you, if I wanted to kill you, I would have done it already. Fire it up!"
Cause Skank. Nah, man, that ain't Skank. This is Skank. And like, she just shows the other side of his face. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's almost. I think they probably didn't. I'm assuming they didn't write Skank's lines. That actor was just really good at playing Skank.
Yeah.
Because he's just mumbling and fumbling through everything. But you're probably like, wow, this guy can't speak. But the director, on the other hand, is like, this is the most amazing actor I've ever seen.
You know, and it's one of those things where I would love to just be there on set to see how many takes, see how many times he lets him just do his own thing. And I feel like that is something in movies that definitely goes a long way when the director just lets the actor do. Yeah. I mean, they're an actor for a reason. You're making a living off it. They're good at it. Like, let them ad-lib. And
well, all these actors seem like legit professionals. They're all there to contribute to the film. It didn't seem like this movie had a ton of ego.
Right.
It felt like everyone was on the same page of what type of movie they were making.
Yeah.
And they all fed into it.
Well, and you know why, too, is because there wasn't really a top... Well, no,
it's not like there was a Sylvester Stallone on this set that just was... I'm going to go stay in my trailer. Everything I want, I get in this movie. It's just a bunch of character actors who are in one film. And the lead is Brandon Lee, who's barely been in any American films. And he was hungry.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah, and I liked his style of acting, too. Whether or not he chose to go that kind of almost sassy, intellectual sassy, even though he was an undead guy,
Yeah, I've always, when I was watching him, I wondered who he was drawing from.
Yeah, was it... That's a good question, because he just had this presence about him when he was saying his lines. Confidence,
Yeah, well, he created his own character. Now, he could have maybe, like Heath Ledger when he was the Joker, I forget the actor he was drawing from back in the day, but they find someone to inspire them, and then they take it and they create their own character with it.
Yeah.
They're not so much copying someone.
Yeah.
They're drawing from it and then creating their own character with it. And that's just what he felt like. To me, it feels like no one else can play the Crow.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point too, because of that, I would hope that the movie does not get remade.
Yeah. And neither of us have seen the sequel. I've seen one of the sequels, but I can't remember anything about them.
I have not seen the sequel or sequels. I didn't even know there was that many, honestly. And
there's two. I know one's called The City of Angels. That's the one I've seen. I saw that way back in the day when I was just renting everything I could get my hands on when it came to like action, horror, or anything like that. But I can't remember it. I'm pretty sure I rented that from Hollywood Video.
Ooh.
When we used to live outside of college in Versailles.
Oh.
Yeah. And I could walk to Hollywood Video in that little mini mall. And or Blockbuster, and I'd always come back with movies. And my roommate Jeremy would be like, ugh! Why do you rent movies like this? This coming from the guy who would watch Power Rangers all day.
We all hate Jeremy's taste in everything. Just to give the audience a little overview of who Jeremy Bennett is.
At least his mom was awesome.
His mom's great.
Yeah, the apple fell really far from the tree that day. And rolled down the hill all bruised.
It's still rolling, by the way.
Yeah. He'll never listen to this. This was funny. Podcasts, what are those? Does it have pictures? I'm not listening.
You know what, though? He would be great to do one of these with, because you'd purposely pick a terrible movie that you know he loves, and then you just want to strangle him.
Well, he hates horror films with a passion.
But he loves Westerns, but hates anything John Wayne has done, who is the king of Westerns. Despite how good or bad his movies are, it's more of a respect thing than anything.
If we could find a John Wayne horror film, it'd be the greatest combination. Ooh. Or at least a horror film that has like a John Wayne clip in it.
I mean, I'm sure there's got to be one.
I wish we were filthy rich just so we could bankroll that movie to piss off Jeremy.
Yeah, and you know what? We would do that, and then we'd be like, hey, we'll get you VIP. We'll fly you to the premiere in LA. He'd be like, no, I don't want to do it.
No. Moving on, in this movie, I think we pretty much broke down the film. It's we didn't. We want you to watch it, but we talked about some good scenes. Do you have a favorite moment from this movie? Mine's the pawn scene.
The pawn shop?
Yeah, the pawn shop where he walks in, and the guy's like, get out of here. You're basically, he's like, you filthy animal, you thug, you scum.
Man, favorite scene.
And then Top Dollar stabs him in the throat. Brutal.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I was going to mention
and his leg kicks, does that twitch?
Yeah, completely, unnecessary death, too. Unnecessary way to kill him.
Yeah, because wasn't that probably someone that was paying him for protection?
If you really want to kill somebody that gruesome, you got to be real fucked up. I mean, I'm not trying to do any sort of... I'm not trying to say Top Dollar is a good man by any means, or sane man, but if you want to kill somebody the way he killed Top Dollar, or the way Top Dollar killed whatever the pawn shop dude, a sword through the neck, bloody. It's such a...
Oh yeah, when you took out that sword, blood would just pour out.
Yeah,
that's a messy death.
It's a messy death. It's you're fucking psycho,
and he wouldn't die quickly.
Right, and he says that too. He's like, just shoot him, all right. You just shoot him in the first place.
Did he take Tony Todd's gun?
No, he had Tony... Yes, he took Tony Todd's gun, yeah.
And it was his gun was huge. I don't know what type of gun that was, but...
What happened with Tony Todd?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember how Tony Todd died.
Did he get away?
He may have.
Because he wasn't a part of...
Well, I think he was just a hired gun, because I don't think he actually worked for Top Dollar.
He was just kind of the...
He's like a freelance... I don't know. I don't know what he was, but he just walks into the movie. He's just like, by the way, I'm cool. And you're like, you are Tony Todd. Yes, you are.
Yeah,
he's got the little fedora hat thing on.
Isn't that Candyman?
That's Candyman, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking badass.
Yeah, Tony Todd is a badass. He's huge too, especially compared to Top Dollar. Michael Wincott looks like he's maybe 5'4". He's like the Tom Cruise of bad guys.
Yeah, Michael Wincott's got one of the most badass voices, and he's a shrimp.
Yeah, 140 pounds soaking wet. He's still cool though.
Still cool.
But I think I'm ready to move on to the museum. Are you?
Oh yeah, wait, I didn't give you. I didn't give you a favorite part of the movie.
Okay, go.
I would say we hinted on this. In the pre-discussion. I think cinematically too, the best shot scene in this. Well, there's two parts cinematically, but to me, probably my favorite part was right after he strapped what's his face to his car seat.
Oh, T-Bird.
T-Bird, yeah. Let him go, and then he proceeded to light the crow emblem with gasoline,
Yeah, it's
on the
awesome.
pavement. It's incredible. The super cinematic shot, great shot, and then
trailer moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We need a trailer shot. Can we just set this up right here?
Yeah.
And
Alex Proyas, whatever we're calling him, that Australian's like, I got you, mate.
Yeah. Give me some gasoline and fire. And then I did like the very beginning, the shot painting through what is basically just models, built set.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually really well done, and the way they stitched it in the footage in with the sets, I thought that was really well done for the time.
Yeah.
And
I like I said, it still holds up. So even for the time, it was good. Even now, I watch it, I'm like, I still buy it. Like how cynical my brain is with picking apart films. I watch this and I'm like, completely buy it.
Oh, and I'm probably worse than you at being. I'm very critical on that kind of crap, and you know it's a set, right? You know that these are models, but there's a sort of admiration to it that I like. You know, you appreciate the work and you appreciate how well it holds up, and it looks great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Everything about it. Let's move on to the museum.
Museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you.
That belongs in a museum.
So do you.
This is the part of the show where we go out into the film jungle just like Indiana Jones and bring something back. It belongs in a museum. Scott, should I start? I know what I want.
Yeah, you know what you want. I kind of know what I want, but let's hear yours.
The script. This is one of the best scripts I've read. Like, I've actually read this script. It's 110 pages, which is vaguely, each page is a minute. This one's only like a 100-minute movie, so there's some extra. But I actually read this. I got this, printed it off a PDF way back in the day, read it, because someone told me it's an excellent script. I love the movie, and it is. It wastes no time.
Yeah.
Every scene is built towards the climax.
It's very you're right, and it's very cut and dry what it is, and they don't waste your time, and that's a perfect way to put it. And that's what I really loved about the script and the movie, is that there's no fluff. Like it's a beautifully shot film, good acting, good action, and you're right, the script is perfect.
Yeah. Even the scene where Ernie Hudson sits down to have a hot dog with Sarah, and she's like, "Oh, I don't like onions; they make you fart." The whole point of that is building that, like, he has a relationship with her. That's why he goes after, and that's why he trusts, Eric Draven. Like, it's just amazing. There's no scenes in this film that you could drop out.
Yeah.
Because they carry so much weight from scene to scene.
And that was a great point about the hot dog scene, because that's exactly what its purpose was for. To show the audience that he still cares. He cares about this girl that was affected by the tragedy that happened. So,
and Ernie Hudson smokes a lot of cigarettes in this film. Like, every scene he's smoking.
Yeah, and Draven makes sure to let him know that, or the Crow makes sure to let him know that it's bad for him.
These are bad for you.
Huh?
He takes a drag.
Yeah.
He's dead anyway.
Yeah. I would say my museum pick would be, I don't want to go cliche, but I would say my museum pick would be probably the set design and how well it holds up. It's a beautiful film, and the art holds up. The matte paintings, the models, it all holds up so well, and I have an appreciation for that, because I'm in that industry, so it helps. And yeah, I would say that the overall cinematography of the film and the set designs and the artwork, everything is great. And it felt like a comic book movie in a good way, not like an over the top way. Like, even though it is over the top, right? Because it's a comic book movie, but it's not in your face, crazy over the top. It's not Riddler, Jim Carrey over the top.
Yes. Or Tommy Lee Jones is Two-Face in that movie.
Don't you talk bad about my Tommy Lee. But yeah, I would say
it could be worse. It could be Arnold as Iceman.
Yeah, one of the worst casted characters of all time.
Ice got your tongue. That's not one he did, but I feel like it would be.
It is one now. It is one now.
Fuck that movie. I have not watched that probably in 5-6 years. The one that always pisses me off. It's not even Iceman. It's when he pulls out the Batman credit card.
Oh, I don't even remember.
It was like a trailer moment.
Oh boy.
There's like a never leave home without it. And it's like a MasterCard with a Batman symbol. And I'm like, but you're supposed to be Bruce Wayne with a secret identity.
$5 million. That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
That's a real... Yeah, he pulls out the Batman credit card.
Man, I guess I gotta go back and watch that movie. Or do I?
I mean, you have to with alcohol and a group.
That's perfect.
Because Bane is... Oh... Like, at least Christopher Nolan, you can... Yeah, I mean, obviously you can make fun of the... Oh, Bane. You know, everyone covers their mouth and talks like Bane. But the Bane in the Batman and Robin movie...
Didn't even talk.
No, he's just like... Yeah. I know he was trying to make a campy, like, 60 homage. Fuck, that movie's bad.
Well, Uma Thurman too, right?
Yeah, well, she's good. She's nice to look at.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a thing for redheads.
Yeah.
Curse you, movie! Don't give me Uma Thurman as a redhead and then put her in a shitty film.
Have you done that movie yet?
No, I don't even own that movie.
That's Batman and Robin, or is that Batman Forever?
Batman Forever is the Val Kilmer one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So Batman and Robin, yeah.
Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey, and Tommy Lee Jones.
Huge star-studded cast of all these actors at the top of their prime.
And before that was if you think about it, Tim Burton, the way he cast, he had Michael Keaton, Christopher Walken, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Danny DeVito. And then Jerry Bruckheimer goes... Give me all the A-listers!
Yeah.
Everyone you got!
Which, by the way, Danny DeVito is one of the best villains as the Penguin.
He's... honestly, when it comes to the Batman cinematic universe that they have, number one is Joker by...
Ledger?
Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
that's
definitely, for sure.
And number two is Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, yep. I agree, hands down.
Could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
And then the camera cut just...
And the dude is bleeding all over the place. He's just walking up with the fish guts in his hand. And can I take that from? Okay. And it's all dripping down his like disgusting pajamas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, his onesie. Yeah. It's like gray, off-white onesie. Just,
that is one of my favorite Christmas movies ever.
Yeah, it definitely is a Christmas movie.
Fucking love it. Anyway, back to The Crow. We went through our museum. That's pretty much going to do it. Next time we're going to come back. I don't know if Scott's going to be with me, but someone will be. Where we're going to go through Dark City.
I would like to. Like Dark City.
And we'll see how scheduling goes.
Yeah.
But it's that's the complicated thing about getting someone new almost every week. Is like just like, so who is open and available? But it's kind of fun though. It's interesting to hear other people's, like, because you come with a different perspective.
I admire the work behind all the effects and all that stuff. So just because that's kind of in the realm of what I do. So I definitely have an appreciation towards, especially when things hold up like The Crow has.
Yeah.
It's. And for those of you who don't know, Jurassic Park is my all-time favorite movie, and that is another case of the effects that hold up real well. And so I have a deep appreciation for movies that do that.
I always struggle with what is my favorite effects movie. Is it T2 or is it Jurassic Park?
Well, I mean, that's Can it be both? Because
I feel like one part of the year I'm a Jurassic Park guy, and the other part of the year I'm a T2 guy. Like the fall and winter, I'm a T2 guy. And the spring and summer comes, and I'm a Jurassic Park guy.
You know, the thing I notice is that Jurassic Park is on TV way more, I see, than T2. And
well, probably because of length and family. You gotta really edit T2 down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about the family part. But it's funny because every time it's on, Anna will be like, she'll look at me, she'll go, really? You've seen this movie about 1,000 times, and I go, yeah, it gets better every time.
And I'll watch it 1,000 more. Get off me, I'm starving. Lay off me, I'm starving. All right, you can listen to us on pretty much anything that brings you a podcast: iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, whatever there is. We're on them. Stitcher, I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of them. You can also catch us on YouTube, which we are getting a ton of comments on YouTube. And I would like to say, please don't ask me to post the movie on YouTube because I can't. I can't post the full movie, you moron.
Well, why can't they just YouTube the movie?
Why can't they just buy it?
Oh,
probably because they have no money. That's why they're watching YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Well, but they have money to buy internet to get access to YouTube, unless they're going to, like...
I don't know. Whatever. Just stop asking me to post the full movie. Because I'm tired of erasing those comments. It's weird.
Oh, you have to erase them?
No, I don't have to. I just choose to.
Oh, okay.
Because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, remember to be kind.
Rewind. Jack Black.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
I'm here, too.
We are the Jersey Ghouls, a horror podcast based out of the Garden State. Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Marissa's scholarly conversations.
By the way, if you Google Psycho female, you definitely don't get the name of the actress from Psycho. Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Nate's thrilling debate.
Why? Why are you so resistant against it?
Because don't you start.
Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Jackie's love of 80s slasher movie Topless Scene.
Whoa, Jackie, this is a feminist podcast.
I know. I'm a woman. And as a woman, I appreciate a nice set of jugs.
Okay, but you shouldn't call them jugs.
Hooters? Bazungas? Tatas? Dirty pillows?
I like boobs too. Can I call them fun bags?
No! We're the Jersey Ghouls. You can find us on social media by searching Jersey Ghouls on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also find our blog and podcast on our website, jerseyghouls.com.